mother alone who can do it, is that the mother does the whole yoga for you. And so the whole secret of the integral yoga, the sadhana of Sri Aurobindo, is to let the mother do the yoga for you. This is the whole core, key, and essence of Sri Aurobindo's yoga. And this was, in fact, the quote I think that we had when Viveki and I were talking about what should be the topic of this discussion. So the quote that came up was this quote from Sri Aurobindo, that the best possible way. And I think this is what we wanted to keep as a title, the best possible way. So if you want to know what's the title of this talk, it's the best possible way. The best possible way is to allow the divine grace to work in you, never to oppose it, never to be ungrateful and turn against it, but to follow it always to the goal of light and peace and unity and ananda. So this is not just the best possible way, it is the only possible way according to me. Otherwise it cannot be done. But it is so wonderful that this most difficult yoga also becomes this most possible yoga. Because what ultimately happens in the integral yoga, that we open to the mother. And that in itself is a very, very hard and difficult task for ordinary humans. I don't know about extraordinary humans. Maybe extraordinary humans, like we had speakers in our center who are extraordinary, but we are very ordinary. So for ordinary humans, even that is a very difficult task, because we are completely chock full of ourselves. If you want to test this hypothesis, all you have to try to do is just observe yourself. Is there any point of time in your life where you have no thoughts? There are always thoughts. You try to stop thoughts also, more thoughts will come.
Right.
Is there any point of time in your life where you don't have any kind of emotions swirling inside of you? Is there any time where your body is not constantly doing something or the other? Even if you're not moving it, it has to maintain itself. So all of these movements, all of this back and forth, and all of this going to and fro, this constant flux that we call ourselves, but which is really not ourselves. It is something that nature has built for us, and we are simply just inhabiting it. It is constantly occupying us. We are full of it. Our consciousness is full of this constant turning around and constant movement of nature, our thoughts, our feelings, about every kind of issue, about every kind of problem, about every kind of need or necessity or want. One thing is guaranteed, that we are never inwardly at peace. We are never inwardly silent. We are never inwardly empty. We are never. So the main job, as Sri Aurobindo said in the very important second chapter of his book, The Mother, what does the personal effort consist of? The personal effort consists of aspiration, rejection, and the third thing is surrender. So Emati, we have to orient our whole being so that we are no longer just focused madly. Like the normal human life is a state of manic obsession with our ordinary life. We have to turn all of that towards a greater and higher spiritual purpose. That is our true purpose. That is our purpose, not just our outer nature's daily purposes that we are constantly obsessed with. Our true purpose, which is to find ourselves, our divine soul, and furthermore, then to manifest the divine consciousness. So that is aspiration. The next part is really difficult, which is rejection. And you can hear thousands of lectures on it. I've heard so many, and yet you will not have an idea how to do it, because we are so caught up in it. We are so caught up in ourselves that the very idea of, or very thought of trying to reject all these lower movements, all of this nature that is constantly whirling us, seems almost impossible. And then finally, surrender. Surrender, once we have been able to distance ourselves, once we're able to detach ourselves, then we just offer everything to the divine, to the mother, saying, Mother, you work on it. But there is a much uh, a, a much earlier surrender also, and this is the best part of it. This is really the best part of it. That even when you are completely unprepared, when you are completely in the preliminary stages of yoga, let's say, you don't know what yoga is, you don't know what divine is. I mean, who knows what divine is? We talk divine. Who knows what divine is? We don't know what supermind certainly is. That is way beyond us. We don't know anything. But within us, something awakens and says, I want this. There is something here which I really want. Something within us awakens, something very deep. And in our Indian spirituality, we call it Brahma Jignasa, or even in the Bhagavad Gita, it's called the Yoga Jignasa. And it is something very powerful. And I can almost remember in my own life when this first happened, when I read Sri Aurobindo speaking about yoga, and he says that it is something that has to be lived, not just thought about or talked about or understood mentally. It is something that is experienced. You become that. It's not just something that you conceive in your mind or kind of image you in your mentality or some kind of abstract notion. It is something you have to become that, experience it. And when I heard Sri Aurobindo say that, something deep inside of me moved. And I didn't know at that time what it was, but today now I can see it. That was Sri Aurobindo actually awakening aspiration within me. This jignasa, this yoga jignasa. Okay, I want to see it. I want to be it. I want to experience it. I want to live it. Otherwise, it is all just empty words, which we can keep talking about, but we still don't understand anything. When that something awakens in you, something profound happens. There is a response. And we don't see it at that point. But then our whole life starts to turn. Perhaps it happened even before we were born, or maybe at that point. But after years and decades, when you look back, you see, oh my God, my whole life started to turn. Everything started to point in this direction. Slowly but surely, all of my hopes and dreams and aspirations and all my plans, all my great visions of what I was going to be in the future, what I was going to do, all of it somehow was gradually put to the side. And something else happened, something else grew within me, which is the real me. And a new aim became the aim of life, which is really the oldest aim with which I came into the world. The aim to find myself, the aim to become one with the divine. And Mother says that this divine grace that works, which is again the mother's grace, that it arranges your whole life without you even knowing it. And then at times you feel its direct intervention to stop something from happening or to have something else happen, which you say, how did this happen? I did not plan it. I don't know how it happened, but it happened. And then you see where it was leading you. And that is the action of the divine grace. That is the action of the divine mother. Because when the mother hears the call of the child, which is the તમારી જે, psychic tattva, your soul within you, when it calls out, when it awakens for the first time, then who comes? It is the mother of the soul. It is the mother who comes. And isn't that the best part of having mother with us? She really takes charge of your whole life. And then thoughts come in your mind which you think are yours, but when you look back on them years later, you're like, wait a minute, I'm reading about this in Sri Aurobindo's books today. How come I was thinking about it at that time? For example, in 1993, when I first came to the US, I was all by myself and I was a very immature young kid. And I was living in some projects somewhere, not a good neighborhood, and surrounded by people who literally hated me because I was a very feisty young guy who always managed to get into trouble with everybody, people who are closest to me, on whom I depended. So life was very terrible, very difficult, very horrible. And I was thousands, hundreds of thousands of miles away from my family. There's nobody to turn to for support. I remember now, this was in 1993, 94, thinking that all your problems can be solved at one stroke. If you are able to just look at yourself as somebody else, just look at yourself as a different person. You are somebody and that person is somebody else. And the image came in my mind of I was looking down at myself from above my head. I was just sitting there on the couch, feeling sad for myself. But there was another part of me which was above my head and looking down at me. Many people have had experiences of this sort, but now when I think about it, it really amazes me that this is, in fact, the process of detachment that we have to ultimately cultivate to get to a point of some preliminary freedom from our nature, from our ego, this rejection that we are talking about. So, a lot of things like this happen in many people's lives, and you feel the constant, and this was even before I'd heard of Mother and Shiva. So, the influence, the grace, the force, the guidance is there when you are meant for this path. And the beauty is, she comes more and more and more out into the open, the less and less full of yourself you become. Because who is ultimately a mother? Like my mom likes to keep saying, I mean, what is your favorite statement? Yeah, માનું મન પોતાના છોકરા સાથે, what do you say? What do you say? Hmm? You can unmute yourself and say something.
માનું મન છોકરું કેટલું મોટું થાય એના પાસે જ બીજા કોઈના
હા,
પાસે જ
exactly.
નથી.
માનું મન છોકરા સાથે જ હોય છે કે માની જે ચેતના છે, it never leaves the child. And this is the great beauty of motherhood, that the mother is always with the child, even when physically she's not with her child, she's always with her child. So when Sri Aurobindo was doing his yoga and siddhi upar siddhi, realization upon realization upon realization he was getting, it's like my main problem was I was progressing so much, I was growing so much, but how do I then now transmit this, communicate this, share this to all humanity? And that is what mother showed me. And that is what mother came to do. And that is why Mother and Sri Aurobindo are not just a team, they are one and the same person. Because it is Sri Aurobindo who has become the mother for us. And all of his knowledge, all of his consciousness, all of his realizations, this is what the mother wants to give us. This is what he wants to give us as the mother. And as the mother, he never leaves us. He's always with us. Even when we think that she's far, she's very near to us. હવે તમને કહું છું ભગવાનના જેટલા પણ રૂપ છે, there is no guarantee they may come and go, but mother will never leave. What other kind of God would you want? Once you have found the mother, it's as if your whole search has come to an end. You don't want anybody else and anything else. You just want the mother. And once that feeling, once that sense grows so strong, so powerful, that as Sri Aurobindo says that your whole life must be based on just this one thought, that the mother loves me and I belong to the mother. તમને બીજું શું જોઈએ? What do you want in life? Whatever problems come, whatever happens to you, the mother loves you. The supreme divine loves you. She's with you all the time. What do you need? Sukara રડો છો તમારું? You base your whole existence on that thought, on that reality. The mother loves me and I belong to the mother. You don't want anything else. And then Mani je Shakti that has been working in you in the background, it comes to the front. And you see your whole life, how she has been guiding you, how she has been with you through all your terrible, most horrible times. And everything she has used to help you. Everything she has made into a blessing. Every curse she has made into a blessing. Every difficulty she has made into a stepping stone to progress. Every failure and fall becomes a means for greater rise. Every bit of pain and suffering was leading you to an unimaginable inner delight and happiness and peace. Life becomes fulfilled. And everything else then, જે પણ આપણે યોગામાં કરવાનું આપણે મધરને છોડી દઈએ. We have to become more and more faithful to her, more and more her children, her true children, not just her disciples, but portions of her being. And then the yoga will be done by the mother herself. Such a wonderful thing. So this is what we are here to celebrate, the birth of the great divine mother. Something like this, I don't know if it has ever happened. I don't think it has ever happened in the history of humanity. I don't know if it will ever happen again, but it has happened. The most wonderful thing, which is the mother has come, and now she is accessible to anyone who calls her and says, "Mother, I want to be your child sincerely," and then life becomes fulfilled. And if you see, today is the anniversary of the foundation of the Matri Mandir. It's the soul of Auroville. And that is the soul of the yoga, of the integral yoga. The soul of the integral yoga is this inner Matru Mandir within us. Matru Mandir એટલે શું કે જ્યાં મધર હોય મંદિર થઈ જ જાય ને. Where mother is, mother's mandir is. And if the mother's presence is the heart and soul of the integral yoga, then that temple is within all of us because she's already there. So what we have to do is we have to allow her complete freedom to now make the whole rest of Auroville, which is our whole personality. The gardens, the homes, the structures, the different parts of our being, we have to just offer to her, say, "Mother, take everything." And as a part of this process, we are also liberated from the prison of the ego. We are also liberated from ignorance.
Yeah, I'm going to just at least take them down and see what
We are liberated from our ignorance and all of the trappings of the lower personality. Baddu chuti hai. Everything can go by the force and love and influence of the mother. And she will take us farther and farther, farther and farther, until we'll say, Mother, there is just so much delight. There's just so much delight. So many wonders, so many wonders. And every day. We just have to feel absolute gratitude that something like this has come, mother has come. This wonderful thing. We know of her. We are here together to consecrate ourselves to her. આપણે કાંઈ mother માટે કાંઈ નથી કરતા. We are doing all for ourselves. Because she has all the ability to liberate us, uplift us, transform us, divinize us. આપણે બધું આપવા તૈયાર છે. She's just waiting to pour herself into us. This is very nice word, I think Gujarati or Hindi, ન્યોછાવર. I don't know what's the English equivalent of ન્યોછાવર કરી નાખવાનું પોતાને. You just completely cast yourself completely out of yourself onto somebody and say, take me, I'm here for you. This is the action of the mother. Completely, she just pours herself, and Sri Aurobindo uses this word, that the Shakti pours herself into you. It is not a small trickle, it's not a small stream. She floods you with everything. It's only that we don't have the capacity. If our opening is small, then what comes into us is small. If our opening is big, then what comes into us is big. So this is what we have to work on. We just have to be able to receive her. We just have to open ourselves to her. And for that, surrender, offer everything. Why hold on to all these things which are nothing but suffering and tension and worry and this constant headache and pain and misery? Whatever pleasure you are getting, whatever pride you are getting from being right about things, and whatever satisfactions you get from possessions and all that, it's just not worth the price. Because in taking everything, you are giving away your peace, you are giving away your serenity, you are giving away your happiness. Your most precious things you are giving away just to get meaningless things from the world. Give it all away. Give yourself away, because you yourself are nothing but a bundle of wants and desires, all of which can be fulfilled only by the mother. So today is a day of great happiness. Okay, we have this option, we have this choice, and we have this great possibility in front of us. Let's make the most of it. Let's make the most of it. Give completely everything to the mother. That should be our goal. I think Vijay, maybe we can have some 2 minutes silence. I think Vijay, you're on silent right now, so we can't hear it.
Thank you. I think there's a question from Dolores.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Question is, Dolores, do you want to ask, or do you want me to?
Yes, absolutely. I can read it.
Sure, please.
You see, thank you so much. I absolutely love what you said and connect us all with such a special day. But I find this, I'm sure we all have this wonder. You said open to her and let her work through you. And then we can take this passive attitude saying, well, does not matter, she's working through us. So how you can balance that and saying, I'm allowed myself in my mind to let her work with me, but by the action, how I can say, I just going to be passive, let her work, or I have to do something. I know the perception, receptivity to certain things that she most likely going to talk to us through, but how we can develop this affinity to listen to kind of let her work and not be passive on it. I don't know if I explain.
So, at least, I mean, from my own experience, as incomplete as it may be, uh, is that our attitude towards ourselves, not just the world. See, I think most people make this kind of a switch when they think about, again, the concept is detachment. Okay. Uh, most people think that it's detachment from the world, but ultimately, what you are really trying for, the detachment that you're trying for, the freedom that you want, is not from the world, it's from yourself. So what you do, and I think I just read somewhere, even the mother said that you can fully remain engaged in everything that you do in life, but change the way you look at it. Don't see it as yours, whatever you're doing, and whatever is doing it, don't see as yourself. Try. I mean, this again takes a lot of time. I'm not saying that this is a quick fix. So just try to see it and call the mother, say, mother, show me the truth, show me the reality that this is not me, this is not mine. And she can show you actually. I mean, in my case, it took years and years what I thought I was doing, but it was actually all the time mother. But it happened to some extent, and it's beautiful. It's liberating. It's so liberating and so uplifting. You have the sense of release, release from yourself. And you see that uh, all the things that we cling to as ourselves, they are really the bonds that we have to break. They really have, I'm not talking about things like family and this and that. You have to live your life. But at the same time, you can be free while living it. So I think this way is very helpful. You call the mother to say, let me see with the eyes of this basic knowledge, to see that nothing is mine and nothing is me. And when you see it, it's completely different from when you just think it. So that, I think, might be something that you could do. I'm just a suggestion. So,
That was really helpful. Thank you so much, Govind. Thank you.
So again, thank you, Govindji, and thank you everyone for joining today and celebrating Mother's birthday. Let's have a quick 1 minute silent meditation, and then we can move on to the day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Govind. It was very, very enlightening. Thank you so much. Thank you.
thank you for
Just-
giving me this opportunity. It's so wonderful.
Thank you, Govind.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention, I think you guys have forgotten it's my birthday also today.
Oh, wow,
Happy
wonderful.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Such a special day.
Yeah.
Very, very happy returns of the day.
Excellent. What a wonderful privilege. Wonderful.
Thank you. We are actually in Seattle, Vivek. Yeah, come to my son's house in Seattle.
It must be very early in the morning.
Yeah, not that early. It's 8 o'clock now. It's not too bad. Yeah, missing you, everybody. Really missing you all. It's been so long.
Yeah, that's literally the other end of the US for us. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
it's very early there, no? Wow. Okay.
No, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
Well, not almost 9. It's
It's
almost.
almost 9 o'clock. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, now the mother's meditation has reached this shore, this coast.
So time for breakfast while we have our
Yeah.
individual lunches at home.
Yeah. At least there's no snow here. That's a good thing.
That's good. That's very good.
We are also in 1 feet snow. I mean, today is a good day, but
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Govind. That was really enlightening. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. Yeah, how to detach ourselves. That's the main thing that we have to try.
Right. And she does it for you. She does it.
Yeah.
You just have to ask and keep asking
Yeah.
sincerely,
Yeah.
and there's nothing she doesn't give. Nothing.
Yeah,
Everything.
this is one little sentence that I used to keep trying to remember is thy will be done. I'm just going to write it here because that's a very short thing which I try to sort of remember all the time.
Right.
Instead of my will, thy will. And this actually I learned in school when we were in Catholic school. When I went to school, I was, and this is actually a Christian sort of training. Thy will be done. But I've always thought of it as a mother's words. Thy will be done.
No, a lot of things in the Bible, they have very, very powerful spiritual vibration.
And
particularly if you look at it from the spiritual traditions of India, they get very powerful.
Yeah. So we can just take these words and use them, and yeah. Okay, everybody, have a good, very, very nice. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye. Bye.
Bye.